All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of our ReVibe challenge. Say hello so I know that you guys are here. I have the chat up and running. I fixed it. It was like automatically set that way. So let me see. I'll have to fix it for tomorrow. All right. So welcome. Today, we're diving into a little bit more on the biz side of up leveling and reviving. So I know a lot of you, most of you, we're really looking forward to more of the biz money stuff. So that is what we're going to be diving into today. And what I would love to just hear as we're waiting for a few more people to pop on is, what did you discover? Did you discover anything yesterday from the journaling exercises, from the time that you spent with me yesterday? Did you have any revelations? Did you have any breakthroughs? Did anything come to you that maybe was a little bit unexpected? Or were you just like, I know I needed this. I know I need to, figure my stuff out and do something different. So yes, any breakthroughs, revelations, anything you want to share about yesterday and the exercises that we did? 5 pages. Wow. Emma says it was a great refresh. I journaled 5 pages this morning. Yeah, it definitely gets you in that zone of really trying to figure out like what's happening, what's going on. And amazing. I love it. Who else journaled today? Did anybody else journal? Jennifer says, I actually did realize that when I flatlined, literally, so did my business. Only I haven't quite rebooted the business yet. I'm physically good now, though. Well, that's amazing. Grateful for health always. And sometimes that happens. And you know what, Jennifer, I just want to say, you're not alone. You are definitely not alone. A lot of the people that I am working with right now, a lot of my clients are going through a very similar thing or have gone through a similar thing where they maybe took some time off or something happened or they experienced burnout and now they're just like getting their footing back. So you're definitely not alone in that. And you're definitely in the right place to spark that flame back into your business. Tatiana says, I have a question. Are you aligning to the vision, beyond the vision, or aligning to your annual vision? That is a great question. I'm going to answer that in just a second. Jennifer says, my heart is good now, just to clarify, had SVT, but surgery fixed it. Well, I'm glad that you are in good health and good spirits. Emma says, yes, I went through a tougher season with COVID up in Canada, took a step back, you took a break from work to work through some old patterns and beliefs. Yeah. So this is totally normal, guys. Obviously, this is why I chose to run this free challenge and really just go deeper, because there's a lot of business strategy, there's a lot of marketing strategy, there's a lot of things that are going to help you with the logistical side of your business. And I also do help my clients with that. But what is going to move the needle most is the internal stuff, right? The alignment with what's going on, the alignment with the next steps. So all of this is super important. And it's really the number one thing, because you could have all of the strategies in the whole world. I could give you an entire blueprint, but if something's out of alignment, if something is not there for you, you're not going to execute it, right? You're not going to feel empowered by it. So we want to be excited. We want to be empowered by our business. We want to, regardless of what has happened, right? Whether whether we're just in a rut, whether we just know that we're not where we want to be just yet, whether we were sick or had trauma or had family things or had relationship things, we all go through it because we're humans. We're humans that are running a business, right? So we got to get the human part right too. And I think it's just as important, if not more, to focus on that piece. All right, so back to Tatiana's question. So Tatiana had a question, and then I'm going to go into what our exercise is today. I'm going to try to keep it again at 30 minutes. So that way you guys can actually go off and do the exercises and doing the stuff, committing to the stuff. I know, those of you that are here live with me, even those that are going to be watching the replay, commit to doing the work. And it's work for you. It's an investment in you. And that's what you just want to remember. All right. So the question was, are you aligning to the vision, beyond the vision, or aligning to your annual vision? So I do both, right? So obviously we have a short-term vision, right? Like we might know, like, okay, in the month of April, I want to do this, or, next quarter, I want to achieve this goal, or this year, I want to achieve this goal. But there's also that bigger vision, the ultimate vision, right? Whatever that is for you, whether that's making millions, whether that's working on the beach, whether that's spending time with your family, whether that's traveling, whatever that bigger vision is, everything that we do should be bringing us closer to that, should be getting us more and more into alignment with that, including the short-term vision. So whatever the short-term vision is, should also be a part of that bigger vision, right? It should be bringing us closer to that bigger vision, which is why it's so important for us to really connect and align with what we ultimately want. Now, that's not to say that that might not change, because obviously, again, we're humans and things change and opportunities change and things shift, but there's ultimately a place that we want to be, a person that we want to be, a way that we want to live our life, a lifestyle that we want to have, things that we want to have, bank accounts that we want to have, right? So I always align to both. And I feel like whatever decisions you're making in the short term should absolutely 100% align with that bigger vision also, and be taking you steps towards it. So when I think about alignment, it's like, okay, this thing that I'm being presented with, whether it's an opportunity for a collaboration, whether it's, I came up with an idea for a course or, another part of my business. How does this fit in, right? Is it in alignment for me right now? Does this feel good? Or is it going to take me away from the thing that I most ultimately want? Now, with that being said, there really is still pieces and parts of things that we may need to do that we don't necessarily want to do. So I want to talk a little bit about this idea of resistance and misalignment. And I think that this is really going to help you as well. And then we'll get into the exercises. So I kind of see two different things that stop people from doing what they need to do. Number one is their own resistance. And number two is misalignment, right? So the way that I describe this is resistance is something that is very tangible. Resistance is something that is ego-based. Resistance is something that usually you can put your finger on it. So for example, I don't want to be on video because I don't like the way that I look. I don't want to be on video because I'm scared of what people are going to think. But misalignment would be like something just doesn't feel right. So I always say, if you can pinpoint it, if you can give an excuse basically for why you're not moving forward with something, chances are it's resistance. Because misalignment to me is more of a feeling. It's more of a gut knowing. It's more of I trust myself that this thing just doesn't feel right. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind as you're moving forward and as you're thinking about what you are going to do or not do, or decisions that you're going to make in your business or in your life. Is this really misalignment, or am I just resisting it? Because a lot of times the things that we're resisting is actually the thing that we need to do. So I just like to describe it that way. If it's tangible, if you can touch it, if you can make an excuse for it, if you can pinpoint it, 9 times out of 10, it's resistance. If it's just a gut knowing, a feeling, just a like, this isn't right for me, or this isn't right for my vision, that's a misalignment. Okay, so we definitely don't want to do anything that's misaligned, but we may have to do some things that we don't want to do. We may have to do some things that we are resisting in order to get to that alignment, or in order to get to that thing. So I just think that's an important distinction as you move forward in making the decisions. All right, so today, again, you should have gotten your email this morning with the exercises. I sent them out really early, so hopefully you got them. If you didn't get them, again, just hit reply. I'll make sure that you get access to that. But I believe everybody should have gotten the email for day 2. So today, we're really more talking about your business. So yesterday was kind of more of like a broad stroke of like, hey, what's actually happening? What is going on? What's out of alignment? What's in alignment? What's the reality of the situation? What's my future vision? And I want to get a little bit more granular today of like, you're here for a reason, right? You wouldn't have resonated with or connected with jumping into the ReVibe challenge if everything was perfect. Right? If everything was perfect and going the way that you wanted it to. And this is not to say that you can't be doing good in your business, because this also is for somebody who is doing good in their business, but just knows that like there is so much more, right? So whatever that case is for you, it's like there's more there to be had, and that's why you're here. And so I want to talk about up-leveling not only yourself, which we talked a little bit more about ourselves and our personal things yesterday, but talking more about your business and getting clear, really clear on like, what does this upgrade look like? Like, what does this actually mean? Does this mean that I'm going to be showing up differently? Does this mean that I want to work with a different level of clients? Does this mean that I want to have a different caliber of experience for my clients? Does this mean I want to raise my rates? Does this mean that, you know, I'm going to completely scrap what I've been doing for years because it's no longer in alignment, and I'm going to step into a bigger vision for myself? So what I want you to do for the purposes of this challenge is just think of one thing that you want to up-level, upgrade in your business. So is it your offers? Is it your messaging? Is it your marketing? Is it how you show up? Is it your rates? Is it the types of people that you work with? So let's just pick one. You guys can just type it here in the comments. What is that one thing in your business right now that you want to upgrade? And obviously you can do more, but for the purposes of this exercise, we're going to choose one thing. Okay. Emma says literally everything. Jennifer says messaging. Jennifer says, I actually had someone tell me that I offer too much. So it was overwhelming. So I definitely see that I need to streamline and clarify. And today's email journal prompts help me with that. Yeah. And that's a very real thing. And that is definitely a real thing to like, essentially fire hose someone with too much stuff. And I sometimes we have to learn that the hard way. I learned that the hard way when I put out my first course, and I thought I was being, you know, extra nice and over delivering and, you know, just trying to really perform really well and giving people so much, but it was so much that it was overwhelming that they didn't complete the course. Right. So there definitely is a balance when it comes to that. But when we think about like our offer or the experience that people have with us, even just that as an upgrade. Because I've been on the back end of some things. Obviously, I've invested in myself where I'm like, this is kind of like a shitty experience, right? Like they're not really putting that much into the customer experience and what they're feeling. And maybe that's one thing for you. You know, it's like, you know, I really want to make sure that my clients have this like white glove experience. I really want to make sure that my clients feel held, feel supported, and, you know, feel like I'm there for them. So that could essentially be an upgrade in and of itself without really changing anything else, right? Tatiana wants to increase her rates. Emma says, I want to change everything starting from scratch. Well, that's a good place to start. Clean slate. So you can just decide and have that vision for what you want. Tatiana also wants to the caliber of the clients. So the caliber of the clients and the rates, they go together. I 100% believe that they go together because when I moved from more of a, you know, lower ticket thing where I was doing like a $47 membership and, you know, $200 courses and $500 courses, things like that. They weren't the perfect clients. They weren't the best clients. There was a lot of defaults on payments on like a $47 membership. When I shifted into doing more group coaching and more intimate experiences, the level of clients that I got was just out of this world, like completely aligned, perfect clients who, yeah, they were paying, you know, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to work with me. And the quality of those clients increased. So I feel like the rate increase and the caliber of clients increase do go together for sure. So like, as you do that, some people do have a fear of like, well, people aren't really, you know, buying my lower cost thing. So are they really going to buy something that's more expensive? Yes. Because the reason why they're not buying the lower cost thing is not because of the price. Right? There's something else there. There's something with the value. So increasing your rates also will increase the caliber of clients, but also knowing that with the caliber of clients, we have to speak to them differently. So if you're someone who is looking at, you know, I want to change or up level who my ideal client is, I want to work with, you know, people that have more money, or I want to work with people who are more advanced in their business. We also have to remember that our messaging needs to change. Right? So this all goes hand in hand. It all goes together, right? Our messaging needs to change because if we're used to working with people who are struggling, right? If we're used to working with people who are constantly asking for discounts, who aren't really that serious, who invest but don't show up and do the work, we may have a tendency, if we've done that for years, to continue to speak the same way, have the same messaging. Even though we want the higher level client, we fall back into this pattern of, this is just how I know to do copy. This is just how I know to write my posts. This is just how I know to speak to the person. So your messaging needs to up level so that those new people, those, next caliber of client for you, they're showing up because they're resonating with your messaging, because they're resonating with the work that you're putting out there. Can you speak to two levels, like beginner clients and then advanced, or is it better to just pick one? So it really depends, Jennifer. Like, this could be, the same person, essentially. It could be the same person, but at different parts of their journey, right? So whenever I think about my ideal client, I usually try not to even think about like their demographics, right? Like how much money they're making, where they live, if they're married, like those types of things. I always go on the core of who they are. Right? So who is this actual person? Are they someone who is a go-getter? Are they a high achiever? Are they ambitious? Are they spiritual? Are they whatever, right? So it's like, I think of like their characteristics and their traits, to me, mean more than their demographics, right? So I always think of it that way. Like, who is the actual person that I want to work with, that their character, right? Because then it doesn't matter if they're at the beginning or in the intermediate or advanced. It's still the same caliber of person. It's still the same type of person that I'm going to be able to connect with. Bringing them along. Some have up-leveled with me. I'm a spiritual coach, by the way, so it's a little different. Yes, up-leveled. Exactly. And that's going to happen too, guys. If those of you who want to up-level your ideal clients and who you're working with, like, there are going to be some people that maybe have been like your ride or dies, and they've been followers forever, and they're always in your stuff. And, they may rise to the occasion, but there are going to be people who aren't going to come with you. And that's okay. That is totally okay, because that next level is going to require a different level of person in order for you to be in alignment with that. So any other questions, keep putting them in there. I love answering the questions as well. So any questions you have about up-leveling the rates or the clientele or your messaging, definitely pop those in. I just want to go over quickly the prompts. You guys already have all of these, but I just want to kind of just go over them just in case anybody needs clarification on this. Okay, so we're going to pick one thing. You can pick multiple things, but don't overwhelm yourself. What do you want to upgrade? Your clients, your messaging, your offers, your rates, how you're showing up, your consistency. Again, it really doesn't matter because they all go hand in hand anyway. But the questions that I have for you guys to journal on today are, what different choice do you have to make to up-level this area of your business? So number one is, yes, you can just make a decision that, like, I'm going to start working with new clients. But what different choice do you have to make, right? So if I want to start working with a different caliber of client, I need to change something in my messaging. I need to change something in my copy. So if we think about what we want, what is the next action, or what is one action that we can take to get us there, whatever that may be. Maybe we need to have a different lead magnet. It could be simple like that, because maybe our lead magnet is calling in the wrong people, or calling in the old people. And we want a more up-leveled experience for these new people. So what is one thing that you can do, or one different choice that you can make in order to facilitate that next level of whatever it is that you want? Second thing is, why haven't you just made the decision so far, right? So if I know, like, I want to work with new clients, I want to show up differently, what is that resistance? Why haven't we done it so far? There's obviously something that is going to keep you stuck, right? So what is that, so that we can push past that? Is it fear? Is it resistance? Is it misalignment? The things that we were talking about earlier. But why haven't you just made that choice already? Right? Because if we are in alignment with something and we know we want something, that drive should pull us, right? Like, it should just pull us to whatever that next thing is that we're supposed to do. What tweaks can we do in messaging to speak to higher caliber clients? Any basic tips? Verbiage or imagery? I think it's both. It's absolutely both, right? Because think about like a luxe brand that you like, right? Whether that's, a car brand, maybe it's a Porsche, maybe it's Louis Vuitton. Like if you look at those brands, like they're immediately high end, right? Now, if you look at something, I can't even think of like let's look at like I don't know, PacSun, like that just came into my mind. It's a little bit more playful, right? It's a little bit more affordable, a lot more affordable, right? But it's like it's a different vibe. So it's like, what's the vibe that you want to give off for those people? And I'll give you like a great example of like just a simple tweak in messaging that we did for my business, for my advertising. And so I had this ad that was going, that was for people who wanted to hit 10K months, but they were maybe stuck around like 3 to 5K. And our original ad messaging said something like, do you want to get to 10K months? And then, went on to the thing. The caliber of people, the types of people that we got were like all across the board. There were people that just had an idea for a business, didn't even start their business, weren't even online or visible or building their business yet. We had people that were in MLMs. We had Beachbody coaches. We had just like, it was just a bunch of random people that it was like, yeah, of course, who wants to hit 10K? But we made just one little simple change. We added a couple words and we changed the ad to say, hey, coaches, are you stuck at 3 to 5K per month and want to scale to 5 figures? Just that little tweak completely changed the caliber of people that started responding to our ad, right? So it's like, we don't necessarily have to like throw everything away, but we have to kind of look at like, if I'm looking to get higher caliber clients, but I'm speaking to them like they're newbies, there's a disconnect. So if you're a spiritual coach and you are speaking in more general terms, then you may attract those newbies or people that are just stepping into their spirituality, just finding things, just discovering things, versus like, how am I going to talk to someone that is already doing the work? How am I going to talk to someone who has been there, who's done that, who's doing the inner work and really just wants to take it to that next level of where they're going, right? You're going to speak to them much differently than someone who's just beginning. Okay, so back to the questions. What happens in your business in the next 60 to 90 days if you don't make this up level? So obviously, again, you guys are here because for a reason, right? You want to up level, you want to do something different. Now, you could leave these 3 days and just go back to doing what you were doing, right? Because that feels safe, that's comfortable. But what happens in the next 60 to 90 days if you just continue doing what you're doing? If you just continue talking to the same people, running your business the same, not making the changes, continuing to push down what you really want and not going for it. So when you understand this, like, it'll all make sense to you, right? It'll finally all be like, okay, I'll just end up doing the same thing. I'll just be making the same amount of money. I'll just be working with the same amounts of, or the same types of people. Do I really want that? Right? Or I could take the leap, I could take the risk, I can start making the shifts and the changes and the up levels and showing up differently. And my business could look completely different. My business and my finances could look completely different by the end of summer. But only if I move, only if I act, only if I follow through with the things that I say that I want. The next question is, what are you missing out on by not choosing or by choosing to remain the same and taking the same action? So kind of just is another play on the previous question. But like, what are you missing out on? You're missing out on probably incredible connections, more money in your business, different types of clients, different types of opportunities. So what are you missing out on by staying the same? And again, this kind of goes back to what we were doing yesterday of like, here's the reality, like just be really super honest with yourself that if you keep going the way that you're going or the way that you've been doing it, you're not going to get the reward that you desire. You have to move. You have to make the decision to up-level yourself, both internally, and then obviously that's going to reflect externally in your business. But we have to do it all. And we have to make that decision and that commitment to ourselves. All right. So what I want you to do is to journal on these questions and really think about like, how do I do it? Yesterday, we talked about making the decision, right? Make the decision and then what? Listen, Listen to yourself, listen to your gut, trust yourself, trust your alignment in what those next steps may be. What other questions do you guys have about up-leveling this? Or what resistance might you have around doing something different? What I tend to experience and see with my clients is they want to do something different, but this thing that they've been doing is safe. It's safe, right? Like this thing might feel like a risk. It might feel like, well, if I'm going to burn my business to the ground, or if I'm going to completely work with a whole new different type of person, there might be some time where I'm not making money, right? Or I may get rejected by this new type of client, or it may take me a little bit longer than I thought. So we stay in this like spot here that feels really safe and feels really comfortable, because even though it's not what we want, it's kind of better, let's just in quotes, better than what we don't know, right? And that's just a decision that we have to make to break out of that comfort zone and get a little like, okay, I'm going to actually make this happen. Emma says imposter syndrome, not being good enough. I think that's across the board. I feel like at any level, you're going to feel that. Right. So whether it's that you're just coming back from a hiatus, or health issues, or whatever you've had going on, you have that, you're going to have that. But also if you're maybe doing okay and you want to up level, you're going to have that. Or maybe you're doing excellent and you were just like, I want to go further. I want to go deeper. I want so much more. You're also going to have that. So at every level, we have these things, we have these doubts, these fears, this imposter syndrome, not being good enough. Like we're always going to have that. And it's just a matter of doing in spite of it, taking action in spite of it. And that's where most people get stuck. They have these feelings, they have these emotions, and then they shut down and they don't move forward and they don't make the different decisions. They just stay the same. So again, by answering some of these questions, like, what are you actually missing out on? You know, who feels the impact of imposter syndrome? You are the only one that feels that. And sometimes that will reflect in your outer, right? That will reflect that like, this person really doesn't have a lot of confidence, right? And confidence is really important, and conviction is important, and commitment is important to these things. And those higher level clients that you're seeking, for those of you that want that, they're going to know instantly. They're going to feel that immediately, your energy. In addition to just the post or the graphic or whatever it is, it's your energy. So how do you up level your energy? How do you create confidence? Emma says it's so true. Yes, absolutely. So guys, this is your homework for today, is to really vision like that up level in your business. What does that look like? What types of clients? What's your messaging? What are the things that maybe you're like scared to do? What are the things you're scared to say? What are the things that maybe you want to disrupt? Like maybe there's a specific way of marketing that you're just like, it's old, it's outdated. Everybody does it. I have this crazy idea for this like new way of marketing, but no one's done it yet, right? Like, what if you just went for that? What if you were the first person to do that? So get excited about this, get out of your head, get out of the how, and think about, what would I ultimately do? What would I ultimately want? And what is the ultimate vision that I want for my business and the people that I work with? And the big picture, what does that look like? And why am I not just doing it now? Like, that's really the ultimate question for me, is like, why are you just not doing it now? Whatever that is, we have to uncover, right? We have to uncover it, and we have to see ya. You don't get to stop me anymore. So that is today's lesson. Kind of simple, but powerful. Super powerful. So what changes do you need to make? What different choices do you need to make? How do you need to shift your messaging? Like right now, could you say, hey, I want up-leveled clients. If an up-leveled client came to you right now, what would you do? Would you sign them? Would you feel confident enough to say, sure, let's do it? So think about those things too, because we have to be open to that. So even if we say we want something, but we're not open to it, then we won't get it. So we have to also be open to those possibilities. And what would it look like right now if 5 up-leveled clients just showed up on your doorstep? Would you have the capacity for them? Would you be able to handle it? Would you be able to show up and serve them with confidence? Absolutely, we have to. If your answer is no on that, then that's another consideration. How do I get it to be? So that if 5 of these up-leveled amazing clients just were about to be dropped into my lap, how do I get ready for them? How do I be in alignment for them? Simple, but so big. Yes. It's always the simple things. I always say that the simple things are always the most profound things. And I truly believe that. How do I up-level my confidence? For me, confidence really comes with taking the action, right? Because a lot of like a lack of confidence comes from bullshit, like stuff that's not actually really true. So by taking the actions, by doing the things and getting more comfortable with that, that's where confidence comes from, right? Maybe for you, depending on what your craft is or what your business is, you may need to get more education. Maybe that might make you feel more confident. Maybe you need to let go of what other people might think of you, because that's a big hit to our confidence as well if we're too worried about what other people think. But yeah, for me, confidence really comes with, number one, just making a decision, but number two, also practice and experience and just doing the thing, right? It's just like anything else. When you started driving as like a 16-year-old, you probably weren't really that confident, right? But now you're probably like a pro on the road, right? Like, you know exactly what you're doing. So it's this way with everything. And so what is going to help me get that confidence? All right, ladies. So I'm good on time again, 12:33. Do the exercises, come back here today or tomorrow, same time, same place. And tomorrow I'm going to talk about your free gift that you're going to get, and make sure that you guys have an avenue to continue to do this work. Because again, like I said at the beginning, this work is the work. If this isn't done, the rest of the stuff doesn't matter. The strategies don't matter. This is why we can literally get $1 million blueprint from YouTube, but not everyone's a millionaire, right? Because they just don't have it in them, or they don't have the confidence, or they don't have the alignment, or they don't know what to do, or they're just holding themselves back. So if it was that simple, that we didn't have to do this inner work, everybody would be rich. But we have to really take all of this into account and be really real with ourselves about what we want and what's stopping us from having that right now. All right, ladies. So I'm excited. Back here tomorrow, same time, same place. And we're also going to talk about your free gift. So I will see you guys soon. Those of you that are watching the replay, also please report back on your findings and the vision that you have for your business. I'll talk to you guys soon.